Morning, gang. It's Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 2019, and a rather grey day outside, boys and girls. Very disappointed this morning. The sun is not out. It was such a nice day yesterday. I had a really busy but nice day yesterday, which I'll tell you about in a second. If you remember, during the show yesterday, I told you there was a disparity between... I think that's the word. Is that right? Is that a word? Or have I just made that up? I don't know. There was a disparity in my bank account between balance and available balance, and I couldn't work out where this was. So I learned something. I never knew this worked like this, right? So I learned something yesterday. Shortly after the show, I had a cup of tea, typed out the summary and uploaded it to the various places on people's walls for their birthdays, which we like to do at the end of every show. I think it's a nice thing, don't you? Sort of wishing people happy birthday. And I rang up the bank. And I said, it's been a couple of days now. Usually I'd just leave it and it sorts itself out, okay? You know, if there's anything wrong with the bank, I just, that's not gotten in there yet, or that's not left yet on the day it's supposed to go. And the next day, it's all sorted, okay? But this had been a couple of days where there was quite a large disparity, as I say, between available balance and balance. So I rang them up and I said, hello there, and I told them the problem. I said, is there something that hasn't cleared, or it couldn't have been one thing that hadn't cleared. That's the thing, you see. It couldn't have been one thing. It would have to have been several things. I said, there's a gap there. Can you tell me, is there something there that hasn't cleared? I said, also, I've made a payment to the American Express, one of my credit cards. I've only got two. And I've got the reason I've got the American Express one is that you get cash back, and at the end of the year you can get a few quid for doing nothing at all. So that's why I've got that one. And I said I made a payment to the American Express, and they then immediately send you an email saying that they've received the payment. But then the next day I got another email from them telling balance is, and it was that balance without having received the payment. He said, okay, well, I'll have a look. So he's had a look. He said, right, what's happened here? There is a cheque there that hasn't cleared, but it was a small cheque. It was a small cheque. Everything else has cleared there. So why is there a big gap? He said, what's happened is that this is how it works. You pay American Express, or you think you've paid them, but you haven't. What you've done is said to American Express, yes, you can have this money. They then go to Nationwide, and the bank, whoever that is, they then go to the bank and they say XX pounds, and then the bank says to them, okay, we'll check that out for you, right? But this is probably all electronic and does it by computer. I hope I've got this right. Then the bank says that, and then the bank then puts a little note there, okay, American Express, you can have the money. And then the bank is there, the money's there, ready for them to take it. Except they didn't take it, not immediately. And I have noticed that sometimes with the American Express, you pay them, or you think you've paid them, and then it takes 2 days for the money to disappear from your account. Well, what happened was the money looked like it had disappeared, but it hadn't. It was still sitting in there, okay? But it hadn't been taken by American Express. Well, a couple of hours later, it happened anyway. So now the account balance and available balance is exactly the same. So I didn't know that worked like that. Did you? I thought you typed buttons, there's, 50 quid, okay, and it's gone. No, it doesn't work like that at all. The credit card people have to say, right, we would like our money. Okay, well, just check that you can have it. Okay, yes, you can have it. And then they have to take it. It's not sent. It's taken. Did you know that? What's that amazing piece of information for you this morning? Yes. See, you've learned something new every day, haven't you? Who's with us early today? Let's see. Where should we start today? Let's start on Facebook Live. Michael Lawrence. You're the first one up bright and early. Good morning, Michael. Morning, Michael. Now, Michael, do you work in a supermarket? I can't remember now. Or a warehouse? I'm not quite sure. I think you're Waitrose, aren't you, Michael? Morning to Diane Jeb. Morning, Diane. Michael Pullman there in sunny Australia. Good morning, sir. Good morning to Juan. Morning, Juan, who likes the opening video. Have you not seen that before? That's my Lincolnshire opening video. That was the supersonic jets are, of course, RAF that go practicing around here a lot. That's when you hear the planes going over me, it's the RAF practicing, and they can get quite low. I've been in bed before for an afternoon nap, and I literally thought the jets were about to land on my roof. But it's all good fun. You get used to it. It's a nice sound, actually. It's a nice sound. Morning to Mike Reese, Ponto in Portsmouth. Morning. Hello to Ray Reynolds. Morning, Levers. Hi, Ray. I've got some information for you, Ray, coming up. Yes, I've got some information for you, Ray, coming up. It's hazy in London. Yeah, it's a bit like that here. It's clouded over at the moment. Hello to Adrian. Good morning, Adrian. Would you be able to inform me about possible choices of airlines and the price for one travel from John F. K to International Airport in Jamaica, Queens into Heathrow? I've no idea. Do a search on Google. No idea. Absolutely no idea at all. That piece of information you require, I'm afraid. Mike, American Express, that'll do nicely, sir, as they used to say. Yes, they did, didn't they? American Express, that will do nicely, please. And then there was Access, your flexible friend. Remember that? I thought I'd be clever with that with my Visa card, and I did that once and it snapped. My advice is do not bend your credit cards, boys and girls. Over on YouTube, good morning to JP, who's in the house this morning. Morning, JP, who says, no more pucker pies. Jamie got too big to fast, I think, upsetting lots of people. Yes, well, I've got that in the show today. I wanted to talk a bit about the whole Jamie's Italian restaurant thing. All right, hello to lovely Claire. Morning, Claire, who sung wonderfully at the karaoke on Monday night. Disparity. Is it disparity? I said paragee, didn't I? Disparity. Thank you, Claire. I knew you'd know, Claire. You know all the best words. You know all the best words, Claire. Hello, darling. Thank you. John likes the blouse this morning, the zip-up blouse, yeah, which I'm having. I won't lie to you. It's a bit tight round the stomach. Oh, my God. It is tight round the stomach. Thank you. JP says a lot of places won't take Amex as it's too slow paying them. I love having no limit. Well, I haven't got no limit. I've got a high limit. It's quite high. I never get anywhere near the limit, let me tell you. But you're quite right. A lot of places won't take Amex. B&Q won't take Amex. B&Q. In fact, I went to a couple of shops yesterday and none of them took it. You've got to go to... I don't know if it makes any difference whether it's a big place or a small place. No, B&Q's a big place, isn't it? They won't take Amex. Presumably they have to pay too much commission on it. I don't know. Good morning to Weird City Citizen over there on YouTube. And Christina is watching in Germany today. Good morning, Christina. Yes, Michael Lawrence works at a supermarket. I think you're in Waitrose supermarket, aren't you, Michael? Well, I mentioned that because I saw a story in yesterday's Sun. And it says now, shoppers, you and I, could be charged 1 pence. You may think that's an insignificant amount of money, but you see, it's the point of it. You know, that why should I have to pay 1p or anything at all by using one of those self-service checkouts, which has done several people out of a job anyway? They're already saving money there. I mean, how much more money do these bloody supermarkets want? Anyway, the story in the Sun and various other places this morning, actually, shoppers should be charged 1 pence to use a self-service checkout machine in supermarkets in order to help heal social divisions. A group of MPs said, I don't get it. The proposal was made by the parliamentary panel. Oh, Christ, here we go. One of those long names on social integration, which is chaired by Chaka Umuna. In a what a name. I wonder what it was called as well. Chaka. I love it. Lovely name. Chaka Umuna in a report titled Healing the Generational Divide. A penny charge to use self-service machines was put forward as a policy to tackle damage caused by a lack of everyday contact between people. Well, have you tried to speak to someone young now? Practically impossible. Oh, are you interrupting me on my phone? Tap, 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 tap. Oh, I was out yesterday watching people just staring into their phones all the time. That's all they do. The panel hopes the charge could raise £30 million to be spent on projects that promote social inclusion. But experts fear the policy could harm shoppers who are looking for good value. Well, let me tell you, if I was charged anything at all, half a p, 1p, quarter of a p, to use the self-service checkout, I'd just go and queue at the bloke or lady who's on the till in future. Why should I pay a penny to use a machine? It's outrageous. Tom Ironside of the British Retail Consortium. I bet he thinks he's important, don't you? He just walks around with one of those clipboards, doesn't he? The trade body for supermarkets said a new tax, particularly one that penalises modern shopping behaviour, will harm both consumers and retailers at a time when retailers are rightly focused on delivering the best value for shoppers. Chuka Umunna, MP, who quit Labour to found the party Change UK. How's that going for you, mate? All right? Aren't they at the bottom of all these polls? Change UK. Well, it weren't a good move, was it, sunshine, eh? Anyway, he found the party Change UK earlier this year, heads up the group that made the proposal. He said, we all know that Brexit have... He surely he's not blaming this on Brexit. Has this idea come about because of Brexit? He said, we all know that Brexit has been incredibly divisive. Yes, it has. But what we have seen over the course of this inquiry suggests that generational division extends far beyond the realm of politics into our daily lives. They don't want to talk to us, dear. You speak to any young person out in the street and they look at you like you're dirt. And do you know why that is? Because we've got all the houses. That's why. We've got that. Next time some youngster comes up and says, oh, you look really old. Yeah, but I've got a house. Get them back. Get them back, dear. It says, the report sets out the beginnings of a framework where local, regional and national government can work together to foster stronger connections between generations. What a load of crap. What a load of crap. So that's what they're considering now, charging 1p every time you use one of those self-service checkout things to help the generational divide. I've never heard so much crap in all my life. I mean, maybe he's just looking for something to do. Maybe his new little political party, Change UK, maybe it's doing so badly he's got nothing to do. So he comes out with crap like that. Ridiculous. And you know what people are like. Is that 1p going to bother them? Yes, it is. They won't even pay 5p for a carrier bag. You see these people struggling out to their cars. You know, they've just spent 70, 60, 70, 80 quid in the supermarket. Would you like a bag? Oh, no, thanks. And then they try and carry it all out to the car. People are so tight. What's wrong with them? Michael, so that's why I mentioned the supermarket. I've got other supermarket story in a moment, boys and girls, coming up on this packed show this morning. Packed. Hello to Adam the plumber, who's in Lanzarote this morning. Good morning, Adam. He's on a little birthday treat with Royston, isn't he? Good morning to you. Hello to Mark Kempner. Morning, Mark. All right, sunshine. Nice to see you the other week there. Christopher Ireland is in there. Morning, they will charge you £1 for using a human at a till next. Yeah, that'll be coming as well, Chris. Adrian, you shouldn't use the self-serve tills because the people who work on the tills would lose their jobs. It will happen. They'll all move over to self-service tills at some point. What the most annoying thing, though, is when you put something in the bag and there is an undisclosed... Well, the Morrison's one is best. Most of the self-service checkout things, they say there is an undisclosed item in the checkout area. Please remove this item and try again. You know, when it thinks that there's something else on there, which 9 times out of 10 there isn't. You know, a bloke or a woman comes along, she don't even look in the bag. She waves her card over the machine, pushes a couple of things on the screen, and there you go, and carries on. No one even checks in the bag whether I'm trying to nick something or whatever. I could have half a stone of dead animal in there for you. No, but the Morrison's one is better. That doesn't say that. It says, there is a surprising item in the checkout area. Please try again. Surprising. Wow. I love it. Christina, the advantage of using the self-service till machines at the supermarket is an excuse to get rid of all the small change. Yes, I do that, actually. If I'm using the self-service checkout, which is not most of the time, to be honest now, they have got a lot better. Do you remember when they first came out? Oh, what a nightmare they were. But they've got a lot better now, and I do tend to stand there. And the thing is, with the self-service checkout tills, you'll have 6 or 8 of them, won't you? In like a square. And the queue to use them is actually quite far away. You know, so if there's someone at every till, then the queue is over there. So while you're standing at that self-service checkout till, you don't feel compelled to move as quickly as possible to get out of the way for someone else. Because the queue's over there. You know, the queue is waiting for any one of those 8 tills rather than directly behind you. You see what I mean? You know when you're a lady's checkout, a lady or man's checkout, and you're there and you're doing your stuff and the conveyor belt is moving forward, but there's someone behind you, isn't there? Just a foot or so away, there's someone behind you. You know, if they're really nice, you might want to back onto them slightly and push yourselves up against them, mightn't you? Which I've done a couple of times, drop something on. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. And then put. But you feel compelled to move as quickly as possible. You don't feel that when you're in the self-checkout till. And similar to what you're saying there, Christina, you don't feel the necessary to perhaps sort your change. Oh, I don't know. Just give them a £5 so I can get out of the way quickly. Not the checkout till. You've got your wallet or purse open and you're looking for those coins. Just take your time. Dun, 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 dun. And then the little leaflets come out, the little vouchers come out at the top of the machine, don't they, to save you 1 pence off £200 worth of fuel or something like that, don't you? So, yes. They say, buy your groceries and not have to pay a fee to get rid of your coins. I do it in Portsmouth and here in Germany. What do you mean you pay a fee to get rid of your coins? Oh, you use one of those, what are they called? I bet you use one of those. Do you use one of those Coinstar machines to get rid of your coins? Oh no, dear. I never save coins. I rarely actually build up coins. Wherever I am buying stuff, I will look for the change. I can't bear. I mean, they get ever and ever. The other day, I think I paid something with a £20 note, and it was like £1 something. She didn't have any notes. She ended up giving me a load of pound coins and 50p pieces, which, funnily enough, I got rid of yesterday when I was buying something. Yeah, so I tend not to hold on to coins if I can help it. But I've never used one of those Coinstar machines. You put, I don't know, 50 quid's worth of coins in and they want 10% of it or something like that. Do you actually mind? I would object to paying a fee to get rid of coins. No, I'm not having any of that. Michael, I think it's pointless charging people to use the self-service checkout machines. Absolutely. Weird City, there's a funny little Britain sketch about a man that won't pay 5p for a carrier bag and carries it all out in various places. Yeah, well, I've seen it happening. My friend. Which is on the YouTube there. Let's just see if... just a moment. Let's just scroll back there. Mike Rees Ponto. You're... Are you the one in Portsmouth? I can't remember now. Your messages aren't coming up on the chat thing now either. Oh well. Audi has launched vegan sausage rolls. Pack of 4 for £1.12. Oh well, I'll get some of those on probably tomorrow when we go down to Skegness. I'll be going down to Skegness on Thursday instead of Wednesday this week because I've had to swap. I've had to change the day I go and visit my nephew this week, Gary. And his little family. Well, after the show yesterday, as I say, I rang the bank and then my sister and her husband Martin came around. What I was going to do yesterday was insulate the pipes underneath my caravan because when the water's really cold, the water coming out the tap, the hot tap, is much cooler than it is than when it's hot. So I'm thinking it just needs insulating the pipes underneath. But my brother-in-law says he thinks I'd be wasting time doing that. It must be something else because the pipe run between the water, the water heater, like a geyser it is, and the tap is actually quite short. He doesn't think I'm losing much heat in that run So I didn't do it then in the end. What is suggested is when it's cold again, to turn the hot tap on, hold the pipe that's coming out of the boiler, not the boiler, the water heater, that making sure that's hot there, and then hold the pipe directly underneath the tap in the bathroom, and see how hot that is. If there is then a difference, then it's definitely insulation you need doing. But he doesn't think it's that. He thinks the pipe run is too short for it to lose the amount of heat. So I've got to now wait until it's cold, unfortunately, and see how that goes. Probably won't be able to do that now till winter now, I suppose. Christina would never use a Coinstar, just go to the bank. Ah, yeah, but German banks charge a fee if you bring a bag of coins in. Do they really? Gosh. See, I don't save coins. I mean, I know some people, they got the big jars and that, and they're chucking these little coins in all the time, aren't they? I don't do that. I get the coins in my change, and I try and spend them as quickly as possible. Adam won't use a Coinstar bank. I bank with Barclays and NatWest, and they have free coin counters. Oh, right, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Free coin counters. Interesting. Well, you used to put them in little plastic bags, but I never build up a load of coins like that. Anyway, so my sister and her husband come around. As you know, it was a beautiful day yesterday, and they sat out the front of the caravan till it was ready. And then we went to the garden centre. On the way to the garden centre, my sister knows of a few houses that sell tomato and various vegetable plants. And it's a nice little it's not really an earner for the people that do. If you've got time, they're probably elderly people in these houses. Okay, up here in Lincolnshire, and you're driving along a road, right? This is how it is out here, right? Driving along a road, and outside will be a little sign that someone's put up. It's a piece of paper just stapled to a bit of wood or something like that. They put it outside their house, and a couple of shelving units. Tomato plants, carrot plants, onion plants, whatever. Tomato plants for sale. And sure enough, we're driving along, and we passed one yesterday. One had nothing left outside. Someone had bought them all, I suppose. And we got to the next one. Tomato plants for sale. 40p. Can't go wrong, can you? 40p. How much do you pay for your tomato plants in Waitrose, eh? About £1.50 each. And what's happening is, of course, whoever's living in that house has taken the time and the trouble to buy a little packet of tomato seeds. Probably for £2.50, something like that. I don't know. They've got the plants going, because that's always the hardest part of gardening. It's germinating that seed. It can be, you've got to get it right, you see. And someone's taken the time and trouble. They've gone out and got lots of little pots, a little bit of earth, put a seed in and grown a plant. And most of these plants are about 6 to 9 inches high. Okay, they're already well on their way. And they get all these plants together. They put them outside their front door with a little jar. And they put a little sign, as it was yesterday. That was he had cucumber plants as well. Tomato and cucumber plants, 40p each. And I bought 8 tomato plants, as I say, so high. And 2 cucumber plants. I thought I'd do cucumbers. Years and years and years ago, I did cucumber plants. I did. I was 15, 16 years old, and I grew cucumbers from a pot along my mum and dad's balcony in Roehampton, where we had a balcony. We lived upstairs. It was a long, I say not that long, but long balcony. And I was very much into gardening at a young age. And I used to grow all tomato plants along it. And then one year I thought I'll give cucumbers a go. And it worked. And these cucumbers, they go kind of along. Right, they don't go up, they kind of go along like that, and they just hang down from there, and they're quite happy. Put something soft underneath them so that they don't bruise. Ever so easy once you've got them going. In those days, I used to grow all the stuff from seeds. I literally used to buy a packet of seeds. Nowadays, a bit more lazy, I go and buy the plants already. But you go down a garden centre or something like that, you can often get like a 6-pack of tomato plants for, I don't know, a couple of quid like that. But outside people's houses, you see, someone's taken the time and trouble, they put them out the front, made them a little, not much money. I haven't made much money. I bought, as I say, 8 tomato plants, 40p each. What's that? £3.60 or something like that, I think. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose at the moment. Can I just blow it? Maybe that'll help. Oh, no tissue. Oh, yes, I've got one left. One tissue left, look. And it's a new one. Look, not crusty at all, this one. Excuse me. So that's it. So we bought those, put them in the car, put the money in a little jar outside. No one nicks anything. No one nicks it. It's not like in London. Oh, my God. You drop a lemon sherbet sweet on the floor and someone's got it before you've walked another metre down the road, isn't they? Oh, no one nicks it. Little tomato plants all outside. I think we bought almost all of them. Put £3.20 or £3.40. I can't remember what it was. That was my change, you see. I had loads of 50 pences and pound coins in my purse. I think I put £3.50 and I can't remember now. I didn't have any change. And then you just drive off. You don't need to knock at the house or anything like that. I said to my sister, shall we knock and pay? She said, no. She said, they don't like being disturbed. That's why they put the stuff out the front. And besides, you don't necessarily have the time to talk to anyone anyway. And it's all done like on a trust basis. How nice is that? Huh? Then we carried on driving and we ended up at the garden centre. I found that the garden centre well, at first I found it expensive. I mean, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted. I know I wanted some big pots. First of all, we went to this like a factory outlet type place. And I wanted some more big pots. And we found some that weren't quite as big as I wanted, but they were large ones. They were £4 each. And they were quite large. And I thought, oh, that's not bad. Not quite as big. So I said to my sister, well, can we go to the garden centres? Let's see how much the bigger ones are there. And we might, because we've got to come back that way anyway. So that was fine. So Martin drove the car, my sister's husband. Got to the garden centre and we're having a look in there. So, look at that lovely rhododendron. So I went over there. 25 quid. No, not for one plant, mate. That's too much. I'm not paying 25 quid for a plant unless it's something really, really special. A rhododendron, very pretty, but not exactly special. Where my house is in Bracknell, we are surrounded by rhododendrons. They are everywhere. The pinky, no, not quite pink, sort of purpley pinky colour ones we've got there. They are everywhere. And actually, you can take a lot of cuttings off plants like that. Literally, when I'm at my house, sometimes I'm walking along, someone outside in the garden, got beautiful bushes, and can I let you into this secret? Let me let you into this secret. I have before taken small cuttings from people's bushes outside their houses. Oh, you wouldn't even know. And the next day, they're not going to come out the house and half the bush is gone, like a little, just a little bit like that. And I've put those in earth and they've all grown. I've got several plants in my garden where it's done from a cutting. Fantastic. And you haven't got to pay anything. At the moment, I'm trying a couple of rhododendrons up at the sports centre that I use. They got a beautiful white and pinky rhododendron. It's like a white with like a little bit sort of... So if that's the leaf or the flower, that's white, and there's a bit there that's pink. Ever so pretty. So pretty. I've got a couple of cuttings I did at the weekend, which I've put in a couple of pots of earth to see if they grow. But I was in that garden centre yesterday, and this rhododendron, 25 quid for one plant. Oh, no, it's too much. Anyway, I said, I'm not paying that. Martin agreed. So we walked around, and then my sister found a smaller one, £7. Yeah, okay. £7 is all right. You see, the thing is, a lot of people, they want an instant garden, and I do get that. They do instant gardening where they want to go to a garden centre, buy all this stuff, put it in, done. It's done. They're not willing to spend the time nurturing that plant. I'm happy to spend a bit of time. You see, that £7 plant that I bought yesterday will be the same size as the £25 plant next year. So as long as you're happy to wait a little bit of time, then that's fine. So I bought that and a few other little bits and pieces. Then we went over to the pots, and I did find a larger pot there. 50 quid. Plastic? 50 quid for a plastic pot. Do me a favour. My sister says it's because they all got names on them. I don't know what it said on there. Stephen or something like that. I said, well, I'm not buying those. So I spent about 50 quid in there eventually. Geraniums, little geraniums, little packet of 6 geraniums, which I think were 3 quid. I bought 2 of those. The rhododendron for £7. I bought a rose bush. A rose bush. Down at the house, I'm very, very unsuccessful at growing roses, and the reason is I don't get the sun there all day. Here, at our Lincolnshire television studio complex, it faces the sun. So I'm thinking I might be more successful with roses here. So I bought a lovely rose bush, which was about 12 quid. That was the most expensive thing I bought. Not very high. Was that all? I think there was another couple of little, like daisy, like very large daisy type things. They were quite cheap as well. I think they were £6, like for a little punnet of, what are they called? Little holding thing of 6 in there or something like that. I can't remember now. No, they weren't. They were like one pot, but there was a lot in there, and that was 6 quid. I thought, yeah, that's value for money. But I tend to buy, apart from the geraniums, I tend to buy shrubs that come back year in, year out. I'm not one to buy summer bedding that for a few months it looks wonderful, then it's dead. A little bit like myself, really. A little bit like myself. So I do tend to buy shrubs that come back year in, year out, and I think they're very good value for money once you bought them. So I got all that stuff on the way back. Unfortunately, we stopped at a bakery and I was very naughty. I purchased a little bit of pizza, a cheese and onion pasty, and a small bag of crisps. Small, and a cup of tea. So we're having that, and then we went back to the DIY place, and I bought those pots in there for £4 each. I bought 5 of those in there. Carrying on back through, and I needed some little hooks. Now, here we go, Ray. The little hooks were to stick around the caravan because Ray Reynolds, months and months ago, before the winter set in last year, very, very kindly gave me some fairy lights, some outdoor fairy lights, very long. I thought they looked fantastic going around the caravan. A lot of people here on this little caravan site have decorated their caravans, as I said so many times before to you, they've got some marvellous little gardens around here. Really, really nice gardens. People are doing it. Not only that, people do up their caravans. They're very individual here. It's not like going on a haven site where every caravan looks the same, all set out in the same way, the same amount of garden, the same space, same little carving. No, each caravan here is very, very individual. And some of them have got the most amazing lights all around them. I'll try and get a couple of photographs actually one night and I'll show you. But some of the lights everywhere. And I thought, that looked really nice. So Ray Reynolds gave me these little blue lights. And I needed some hooks to stick onto the side of the caravan. You know, and put the wire in and then that holds them out. So we tried... I think we tried 4 places. There was none in the garden centre. There was none in that DIY place. So the reason we stopped in Horncastle, where the bakers just happened to be as well, was because there's a hardware shop just over the road. So we went in there, explained to a lovely bloke, actually, really nice chap, young chap, what we wanted, and he takes you straight there. You know, that's what you want there. And I've got these little, I haven't got one here, little plastic hooks. Now, which I'll tell you about in a minute, okay? So bought those, put those in the car, had our pasties and things like that. And let me just refer to my notes over here. And we got back here. And oh, good morning to Maureen joining us there. Hello, Maureen. Just spotted your little message there. Good morning to you, lovely Maureen. And that's it. Didn't get back here till just before 5 o'clock, which is really late for me. I like to have a sleep around about 3 in the afternoon. So now I'm really tired. And unfortunately, I had to ring up my nephew. I'll come to your messages in a moment, boys and girls. Okay, sorry, I'm just right into the story at the moment. I'll read your messages out in a second. Yes, I usually go to my nephew's house on a Tuesday night. That's Gary and his wife Stacey. That's who I was in holiday with last week. And great nephew Harry, of course, and great nieces Olivia and Evie. But I had to ring him and say, can we do this tomorrow night? I'm just so tired now. And he said that was fine, so that's good. Also in the bakeries, I bought. Oh, I haven't got them with me. I wanted to show you these. Shall I go and get them? I've bought the my great niece and nephews a biscuit each. Hang on, let me go and get them. Here we are. From Coupland's Bakery. Oh yeah, look what I bought them. Bee biscuits. Look how camp are they? Oh, chocolate. Oh, I smell delicious. They may not make that to my great niece and nephews. I've got two of them, one each. Not the little girl. Unfortunately, she can't eat solid food. She's fed by a tube all the time. But I bought that for the children yesterday, which may or may. Which may or may not make it to the children later on. Okay, let's just come to some of your messages before I carry on with the story. Good morning to Carl Gambrell. Good morning, Carl. Good morning to you. All right, nice to see you. Oh my God, how are you? Carl is like a top hairdresser who I knew when he was, I don't know if he was 18 or 17 or 16 actually, but you used to come into heaven where I was DJing at. And we always had a laugh. Now I'm going to meet up with him soon, hopefully. Like 15 years, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 years have passed since I last saw him. So good morning to you, Carl. Let me just scroll back a bit there so I don't miss anyone out. Where shall I go? Let me go to YouTube first. Claire, pilfering plants for the countryside or other people's gardens is theft. Oh, come on, I don't steal whole plants, Claire. I just cut a bit off the end. Go on, say it. How would you like it if someone cut one of your toes off and tried to grow that? Well, it wouldn't grow, would it? I have. I've got a few bushes in my garden that I've grown from small little things like that. If you've got the patience, okay, gardening can be as expensive or as cheap as you want it. You can do it for nothing, almost nothing. You really can. I mean, you could just dig up a bit of earth and put that in a pot and go and snip someone's. See, you've got to know how to do it. That's the thing. You can't just like go around and snip a bit of a tree, put it in and a tree will grow. It'll probably die. You've got to look for the bit that's growing and all that. You know, you've got to know what you're doing there. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. It's just guesswork. A lot of it is common sense. A lot of it's common sense. Carl says you can get a Stephen for less than £50 around Vauxhall. Can you really? I've heard you can get a Carl now for a lot less. Is that right? Morning to Mr. Dr. SOS Gregorian. Morning to you there. Adrian, not surprised that you're growing cucumbers. Look what's happened to you. What's wrong with a cucumber? I'll bring you one in when they're grown. There's a promise for you, okay? Where's my bee? Wants to say Gary Butler. You haven't got one, mate. There might not be two here later. One of them looks like it's had a bite out of it, actually. I think it's just... Oh, it's just collapsed a bit in the... Yeah, look, bees. Got two of them in here. For the children. What's that noise? Keep hearing noises going on. Was that the other phone? I don't know what that was. So there we are. £5 on your bus fare home. Is that what you charge now, Carl? Dear me. I can't wait to see you, mate. I really can't wait to see you. Does that Matt have to come as well? Do you know Matt was in a dream of mine yesterday? I can't remember what was going on. Matt Joplin was actually in one of my dreams yesterday. I can't remember it now. Isn't it funny? Unless you talk about dreams, the moment you wake up, if you can write... Once I had a little notebook next to my bed, but it's you've got to write that dream down as soon as you wake up, or you forget, don't you? You notice that? Right, so back here, as I say, so I didn't go to my nephew's last night. 5 o'clock, I went straight to bed, got up again, and I started doing my plants. So, and I didn't get up till about 7:30. But of course, it's a lot lighter at the moment at night time, isn't it? It's lovely. 7:30 at night up here seems to be brighter than it does down south. I don't know if if it is actually lighter up north, longer than it is down south in the summer, but it certainly appears to be that way. So 7:30, I got up, made myself a cup of tea, took it outside and started doing my plants, putting the earth in the pots. I need to get some more earth. I've just run out of earth. I think I've got enough pots. And I put almost everything in that I did last night. And then, you know, and then it was 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock then, by the time I finished doing that. And then I thought I'd tackle the little blue lights which Ray Reynolds kindly gave me back. I think he gave it to me in September last year, and they've been sitting there waiting to be done. So I got these little hooks out that I bought from the DIY shop, right? And they're like little plastic things, and they come with like a sticky, you know, a little, like a double-sided sticky thing. The only thing is, the plastic hooks and the double-sided sticky are separate. It's not like they've already put on half of the thing onto the hook. No, you've got to do the whole lot yourself. I thought, oh, cross. And, you know, very quickly you realise how fiddly this is. Oh, God. So I started doing it and peeling off this little thing and putting it one on there. Then you put it on the caravan like that, and you push it down like that, and you clip your wire into it. So it's kind of working. But then I thought, well, we're outside here. How strong is it? Is that going to stay on when it gets really wet? I don't think it is. I honestly don't think that's going to work. And there was a couple of times where I'm putting the thing up there and I put the wire in, and then I've turned around and gone back again and it's come off. So I don't think they're actually that good. So what I did, I've done so many of them, and some of them seemed to hold and some of them fell off again, and I had to push them really hard and get them to stay on there and put the wire in. I've got this stuff called No More Nows, which is brilliant. It's absolutely really, really good stuff. And you stick stuff on walls and things with it. You just put a little, it's like, comes in a squeezy tube, and you put it on, and then you push the thing up there. Perhaps you put a little bit of tape over it. I mean, I've got smoke alarms held up with that in the caravan. I've actually got smoke alarms held up with that, right? And it's fantastic. So I thought I'll use some of that. So I've got my little my little hooks and just a little bit of No More Nows, and I stuck that on there. By now it's about 9:30, 9:45 at night, right? So it is going dark now, and I'm having trouble seeing, to be honest. But I put a bit on there like that. Now I thought, oh, well, I can't put the wire on that. That's got the set now, you see. And I thought overnight that will probably set. So I've got a few lights going up like that, and I just plugged them in for a moment to see how they look. Oh, fantastic, Ray. They look really good. And there's like this blue glow around the caravan now. There's a blue glow around the caravan. So there's a few up there, and then I just chuck the rest onto the roof to leave them up there. So I put all those along there like that. And that's it. So I thought, well, they'll be nice and dry in the morning. So that's it. Come back into the caravan. I made my dinner. I had burgers and baked beans and mashed potato. And, I found an old chocolate sponge pudding with custard as well. It was only a month out of date, and that tasted lovely. Put it in the microwave, like 30 seconds. Oh, God. I think it's some sort of chocolate fudge sponge thing like that. I mean, it made my arse even fatter than it is now. I'll tell you that now. I got into bed last night and my arse followed a minute later as I tried to hoist it into the bed. Had my dinner, sat down there. I watched last night's episode of Holby City. It's all happening in Holby City. You know the gay character, Dom, his vile, nasty ex-boyfriend has turned up. Not only that, his actual husband has been sleeping with someone else when he was on holiday. Outrageous. They can't keep it in their bloody trousers, them gays. I'm telling you that now. It's outrageous. So I watched that. And then I was advised by my friend Graham to watch this thing about Margaret Thatcher. I can't remember what it's called. Go on the iPlayer, just type in Thatcher, and it will come up. Okay? And I watched about 10 to 15 minutes of that, how she got to being Prime Minister and all that. And it's really good. Some of it's very funny. Do you know they used to call her Margaret Thatcher the milk snatcher because she took all the milk away from the kids at school? Oh, we didn't like it anyway. I hated that milk. I was forced to drink this bottle of milk every morning when I was at school. Anyway, she stopped all that, and some of it's quite funny, and it's good. Highly recommended. Watch that on the iPlayer. Just type in Thatcher, as I say, and it'll come up there. So that was it. I eventually went to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning, I think. I got up in the morning. I've got up this morning, rather. Done my breakfast. And while the computers... The reason we were a little bit late, you may have noticed that when I first put the show starts at, it said 9:15, and then it said 9:30, and then it said 9:45. The reason for that was the broadcast computer was doing another major up. There seem to be a hell of a lot of updates going on these blooming Windows computers at the moment, don't there? Every day another blooming update, and it was doing some sort of major thing, and it hadn't finished, and you can't stop it. You know, I made that mistake a few months ago. I don't know if it was at the karaoke, and it was doing this update, and it was getting closer and closer to start time, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and nothing's happening. So I pushed the stop button, you know, the off button, held it down, and it went off. Well, that was it. That was it. After that, none of the programs would open, and I had to take it back to factory settings. So I'm not doing that again. So that's why the time kept moving back at the start of the show today, because I was waiting for the computer to finish doing whatever it was doing. And while it was doing that, I went outside. I thought I'll put the wires on now. The new No More Nows stuck on the caravan hooks. But it hasn't dried. Now, whether or not it's because it was damp or cold at night, I don't know. Maybe this No More Now stuff needs a bit of heat, in which case there wasn't any heat, and these literally the hooks, they're not hooks, they're like flat things, they're like flat bits of plastic with a little plastic hook on there. They were sliding, and I thought, well, that's not set yet, so I'll wait. Hopefully the sun, is the sun out yet? It's still not out. It's very cloudy up there. Maybe a little bit later on today I'll try them again, but they certainly hadn't set, so I can't get the wires on there at the moment. But I'll get them on there somehow. I've got to go to... where am I going today? I was either going to go to Horncastle. I need my car washed. And there's a lovely little hand wash place. There's a couple of Romanian boys. Oh, they're gorgeous. They're about 25, 28 years old. And they climb all over the car while they're washing it. I like to just pay them to watch them really doing it. You know, hoping that someone might say, "Are you single?" But it doesn't happen. I don't understand it. I really don't. So I can't decide whether I want to go to Horncastle to get the car washed and swim in there, or Boston to go to B&Q to see if they've got something else other than the plastic hooks. Plus I need a little bit more earth, and B&Q seem to be the best value place for plants. They really do. They're quite cheap and very, very reasonable in B&Q in the gardening section, and they look after their plants there. You can't, I mean, Aldi, they do plants in there a lot of the time, but to be honest, they just don't look after them. You've got to get in there on the day or the day after that they've been delivered. So if often they get deliveries on a Thursday in Aldi, right? You need to get in there on Thursday morning or Friday morning if you're going to buy plants, because by Saturday, no one's bothered. They never bother watering them. Half of them are dead outside. You go out to Aldi, you like on a Monday or a Tuesday, and they bring out all these plants. Most of them are dead, literally dead. So I don't buy plants from Aldi. B&Q, they have someone out there that waters them all the time, and they're very well looked after. And it's nice. I like it in B&Q. So that's been my day so far. And here we are talking to each other. Some of your messages coming up. One moment, please. Do they rent at your park, Chris? No, John, not at all. No, they don't allow anyone to rent out their caravans on this particular park, John. Okay, conduit. No, it's not conduit. You don't want conduit, do you? Because the lights have to be on the outside. Yeah, the lights. It's fairy lights I'm trying to put up. So you can only put them with hooks. If you put them in conduit, you wouldn't see the lights, would you? So we can't use that. Good morning to lovely Belle. Good morning, love Belle. All right, she's in New York. Good morning to you, my darling. Carl Gramble. Well, that's a nightmare with Matt Joplin. Absolutely, you know it is. Every time I see him, he's queuing up to buy another drink somewhere. Have you noticed that? Morning to John Aitken. We were watching the first 2 episodes of Years and Years last night. Really good. I've got a crush on Russell Tovey. I don't know who he is. Russell Tovey. Who's he? That's not a name I know. Years and Years. What side? Is that on the iPlayer? Or is it a Netflix thing? I don't know that. Years and Years. What's it about, John? Do let us know. Always looking for stuff to watch on the telly. Okay. Mike, all the major supermarkets now take Amex. Do they? Well, B&Q don't, Mike, believe it or not. Which is surprising, isn't it? No Amex at B&Q, unfortunately. There we are. Alrighty. We've got another news story here, boys and girls. Another supermarket story. If you want to save a bit of money on fuel, Sainsbury's are doing this one again. Bonus time. Sainsbury's is doing 10 pence a litre. That's fair. Off fuel, as well as giving you 150 extra Nectar points on every shop above £1 this week. Get down to Sainsbury's, boys and girls. The two sweet deals, which are to celebrate its 150th birthday, are perfect for motorists and Sainsbury's shoppers alike. Now, they talk about the 150th birthday there. I remember I would have been about 6 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old perhaps. I remember going in the Sainsbury's in Peckham. So this would have been 63, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1968. Can you hear the planes? That's the RAF going over. 1968, 1967, maybe, somewhere around there. And going into a Sainsbury's in those days was very, very different than it was now. For a start, there was no self-service. I remember the shop was long and narrow. This is on Peckham High Street. And in the middle was this massive long counter, which kind of went... It's like in the centre of the shop. So if you've got the shop like that, right, if you've got the shop like that, the centre of the counter in the middle like that, and then another counter all the way around the side like that. And you would go in, go over that bit there. Or can I have 2 cans of baked beans, please? And a can of peas and potatoes there. So you would buy that there, right? Then you go over to the middle. I don't know, that might be the meat stuff. Or could I have half a pound of bacon, please? And a lady with a white hairnet on. I can see it all now. I can see it in my. Isn't that funny how you remember certain things? Eh? And the counter was marble. It was a big white marble counter that was in the middle there. And you go and order your stuff, and a lady would get the bacon big thing, and she'd be sawing it off from one of those highly dangerous... I always thought that was so dangerous, these things. It was like a blade that went round and round like that, and she'd be pushing this bit of dead animal on there and slicing off whether it's ham or bacon or things like that. And then we'd move round to another section and buy some. Can we have that, and there? And at each section, you would pay for your goods. Right? And it was all... So many people employed doing this thing, when you think about it. And I remember going in that Sainsbury's so well. Yeah, I don't know how many times we went in. I'm only... Can I see anything else in there? I see a lot of prams and things. I can't see everything anymore, you know, memory. But it's funny how you remember certain things like that. Do you remember going in an old supermarket like that? No, of course, you just go in there with your trolley and do it all yourself, don't you? Eventually, I don't suppose they'll have any staff at all. It'll be just all machines putting out the goods and this, that and the other. Yeah. But if you want that 10p off a litre thing, afraid you're going to have to spend 60 quid in there. It says 10p off a litre of fuel when you spend at least £60, as well as giving you 150 Nectar points there, okay? And then this is in the Sun this morning. And then it's doing that thing again where it says how to keep down your fuel costs and how to drive more efficiently. I mean, how many times do we want to see that, for God's sake, blimey? Just a second there, where we are. John says, Google that bloke. What's his name? Russell Tovey, was it? He's on Channel 4. Oh, it's on Channel 4. Very interesting and a great cast. Well, what is it? A drama? Is it a drama or a documentary? I don't know what it is, John. Ray Reynolds, Russell Tovey, a very good-looking actor with sticky-out ears, who you used to see around the West End. What, like that? Do you remember the kids in the school? They had sticky-out ears, and then one day they'd come in with this bandage on their head while they've had their ears put back. I was the one with the buck teeth at school. They used to call me Bucktooth. That's what the other kids called me at school. No, you couldn't do that now, could you? Oh, it's really offensive. Oh, I have to have counselling. Load of old crap. Get on with your lives, for Christ's sake, and stop moaning. It's on the BBC, is it? Thank you, John. Mike, I think you're way behind here somewhere, Mike. You keep coming up with... I think you're watching the show that was on, like, half an hour ago. I noticed your comments are, like, behind everyone else's today for some strange anonymous reason. So Mike's going back to the carrier bag story we were talking about. So annoying, unexpected item in bagging area when there isn't. When there never is there? Then there never is an unexpected item in the bagging area. Oh dear. All right, Dr. SRS Gregorian's in the house. Good morning to you, sir. We'll do one more story then, and then we'll disappear. And this was the Jamie Oliver thing that you've seen in the news yesterday and in all the papers today. And in the Daily Mail Online, Janet Street Porter. I'm not a massive fan of her. Sometimes she comes out with some right old crap. Other times she's quite sensible. And this is one of those times. This is exactly how I feel about Jamie Oliver's Italian restaurants. Now, you can go in there, or used to be able to go in there. Are they closed now? Yes, they are. They're closed now. So I've been twice in his Italian restaurant in Reading. Okay? The food is fine. The service is fine. But the prices, ridiculous. Ridiculous prices in Jamie's Italian restaurants. And Janet Street Porter says exactly as I feel. She says in the Daily Mail today, Jamie Oliver says he's devastated. Have you ever been in a Jamie Oliver's restaurant, as a matter of interest? Do let me know. Jamie Oliver says he's devastated by the closure of dozens of his Italian restaurants. Over 1,000 workers, and that's sad, have now lost their jobs without any warning. I don't imagine that they've had much of a pucker day either. This latest example of rampant egomania bringing down a celebrity chef has seen Jamie Oliver, the most famous cook in the world, face the unpalatable truth. Diners don't love the cheeky chap from Essex as much as he imagined. Now, I've got to say this. When I see him and... Who's the one who swears? Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay, all these people on the telly. And I don't really watch cooking shows, but on the occasions where I've been around someone's house perhaps and they've got it on, and you see him doing all this stuff to food and it does nothing for me at all. I'm a plain eater. I really am a plain eater. You know, some sort of pie and mash is fine by me. Vegetarian sausage, baked beans, some vegetables. I'm a plain eater. And I muck around with all this food. The worst one is when they bring out this great big plate and there's this tiny bit of food in the middle and that's a meal. How is that a meal? Give me 2 cheese and onion pasties, please. That's all I want. Anyway, the story goes on. Our hot love affair hasn't just cooled with Jamie Oliver. It's the leftover lasagna at the back of the freezer. Jamie burst onto our lives in 1999 riding a scooter, excluding madcap enthusiasm for a plate of simple Italian food cooked with high quality ingredients. And it says the cheeky Essex lad, whose parents ran a pub, was never just a chef though. He was determined to be the messiah of healthy eating, a bloke with just 2 GCSEs and severe dyslexia who wasn't interested in running for a political job but who passionately wanted prime ministers and educational bosses to sit up and listen when he pronounced on the state of the nation's health. Now, I've often heard school dinners are not all that nowadays. Where I was at school, I went to the London Oratory School in Fulham, Our school dinners were fantastic. I cannot tell you how good they were. There were vegetables, there was potatoes, there was some sort of meat item. It was a good meal there. These days, pizza and chips, I don't think do it quite well. Do you? He campaigned to improve school dinners, wanting supermarkets to stop placing chocolates and sweets by the checkouts, and berated us to care about everything we ate. Meat had to be reared and slaughtered humanely, and fish must be sustainable. In short, Jamie was an evangelist for decent food, at a time where most of those in power couldn't see that obese people cost the health service millions, and they do. Diabetes and all the rest of it, and are destined to die before they should. And it goes on. The story goes on. But what she says, basically in there, is that he was simply too expensive. And she's absolutely right. I went in there years ago now. Jamie's Italian restaurant in Reading, I went. Years ago, and we went twice. The first time I went with my mate, Ronnie. And we ordered the lunch. We didn't really pay too much attention to the prices. I mean, we were just out having lunch. I mean, how much can that cost? And I think for two of us, it comes to like 60 quid. And I'm like, how much? For two lunches? I thought, wow, that's a lot of money. Anyway, we went back again about a year or so later, and I sat down, and they changed the menu. And I looked at this menu, and I thought, I don't fancy anything here. I think the vegetarian option on that particular date was not good. There was a couple of things on there, but it was nothing like basic. I think the first time I went in there, I think I had some sort of cheese ravioli or something like that, which was quite nice. And the next time we went in, about a year and a half later, they changed the menu and that disappeared off it. And not only that, they put the bloody chips in those silly little metal tubes. I wish restaurants wouldn't do that. You don't get hardly any chips. The chips were lovely. I can't tell you how nice those chips were. They put garlic on them and a bit of rosemary, but it was just in that tube and you didn't get many of them. And it's gone wrong, in my opinion, because of the prices he charges. Oh, Janet Street Porter was saying, how can you be charging a fortune for basically ordinary food? And she's quite right. I think that's what's done him in. He was just too expensive in there. Ridiculous. Beautiful restaurants. Beautiful. Like Gordon Ramsay. Me and... did we go in? No, we didn't go in there. But when I was with my nephew in Las Vegas at the end of last year, we went past a Gordon Ramsay's place in one of the hotels in Vegas. And it looked fantastic. My God, the queue was half a mile out the door waiting to try and get in there and have a meal. So we didn't bother with that one. But it looked really nice. And it had this like flame thing that was outside burning away, you know, using the Earth's resources so that we can look at this flickering flame in the burning heat in the Nevada desert. So there we are. Just a second, let me just scroll back there for you, boys and girls. Where are we now? Jamie Oliver. Ray Reynolds says Jamie Oliver has a small restaurant on Southend Pier. It's like a shed. Is it really? I bet that's really expensive as well. And there we are. John Aitken says Jamie's restaurants are so expensive. I met him years ago. He was lovely to chat with. Oh, I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, John. I've no doubt he comes across as a lovely bloke. He really does. But he's just charged... The price of his food was just too expensive, and I think that's what's done him in. John says it's the side orders that build the bill up. Well, I don't think we had any side orders. The chips came as part of it, you know. The Bell says that's because the tubes, that's the things with the chips on, are more sanitary and easier to clean. What, easier than a plate? No, surely not. Yeah, that's how I want my chips. On a big plate. Just pile them on, dear. Pile them on. Stop mucking about trying to fit 3 chips into a small tube. We hate it. Anyway, that's the Jamie Oliver thing. A shame, really, that so many people have lost their jobs there. But too expensive. No one's going to buy it, I'm afraid. That's just how it is. All right, gang. Let's do today's birthdays. It's on this, Wednesday the 22nd of May 2019. Happy birthday today to Andrea Beattie. Good morning, Andrea. 46 years old today. Happy birthday, Andrea. Vincent Frioli. I hope I've said your surname right. Vincent Frioli. He used to come along to the karaoke nights, of several of my karaoke nights, actually. I can't believe you're 57, Vincent. So you're a year older than me. And I've had some wonderful conversations with him about various things. Ray, you'd get on with him. He's into television idents. You know, the old Thames and all that business going on there. So good morning to you, Vincent. Lovely to see your little face pop up there. He went to Florida a few years. He likes to travel a lot now, I think, Vincent. Last time I saw him, he just got back from Florida and had a fantastic time there, didn't you? Happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday today to Nathan Matthews. Good morning, Nathan. Happy birthday to you. James Keogh. Hello, James. 41 today. Alan Jackson today is 61 years old. Michy Moo. Hello, darling. Michy Moo. I still remember those bagels you kept offering me when I gave you a lift home a couple of times. My God, that's going back 25 years, isn't it? Do you want a bagel, Chris? No, I'm all right. I used to give her a lift home from Camden Town to Shepherd's Bush, didn't I, eh? After I've been DJing at the Black Cat. Such a warm person. Happy birthday to you, Michy Moo. Dieter Stemmer. Good morning, Dieter Stemmer. Happy birthday. Stuart Tyler. Wow, has a year gone past, Stuart, since I last wished you happy birthday? Sometimes I read these names out. And I think, I'm sure it was only his birthday a couple of weeks ago. No, a year has passed. And I'm going to tell you, I always say probably the same thing, because I know most of these people on here, and it drops into your head how you know them. And I like to tell you that story, because we've got different people, new people joining us and leaving the show all the time. That's just how it is, you know. Stuart, 38 years old today. Happy birthday, Stuart. Worked with him at the Golden Lion, which was in King's Cross. Right on the corner. It's gone now, unfortunately. Andrew Armstrong, 39 years old today. Good morning, Andrew. Worked with him at the Long Island Iced Tea Shop. He used to sit next to me. Things we used to go up to there, Andrew. Happy birthday, 39 today to Andrew Armstrong. And Mr. J.R. Bennett, you would have seen him on the telly. 44, J.R. Gosh. Julian, all right, darling. How's that dog of yours? Is that still around? Happy birthday to you all. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right. John, stop talking about chips. You want a portion now, don't you, John? LaBelle, our planet has so much garbage. Those plates and paper build up. Oh, not paper plates, LaBelle. No, China plates. China. That's how I want my chips, on a China plate, you know, and then washed up and all that. Not in a like metal tube thing. Michael Lawrence has been to one of Gordon Ramsay restaurant in London, but very expensive, but worth the experience. So he's been there. I've not been to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, to be honest. No, not been to one of those at all. Alrighty, that's it for the show today. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Thank you to those of you that share the show to your personal Facebook walls, whether live or as a recording. That's always appreciated as well. I never really mention that, I know, but thank you very much, those of you that do that. Alrighty, thanks very much, gang. Have a lovely time on this Wednesday. Hopefully the sun will come up later and dry my little plastic hooks onto the caravan. Otherwise the wire's going to come down again. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.